1965 saw the introduction of the MGB GT, a welcome addition to the MG stable. Being a hardtop version of the Roadster, it's a little more refined. This GT has been fitted with a 118 horsepower Rover engine and a Toyota 5-speed gearbox. It's a 1.8 litre motor, 16 valve, twin cam, modern engine. Fully dressed, this engine would weigh less than 100 kilos, and you can't say the same of the original B motor. It's quite civilised in here. It's nice, it's quiet, wind noise isn't too bad, steering's nice and light, engine's got plenty of power for your daily needs. And it no longer slows down when you throw it a hill. All in all, it's a pretty good upgrade. Has it lost any character? Yeah, I think it's lost a little. But it's still an MG, and it's still a lot of fun to drive. Being able to do 0 to 100 in under 10 seconds does help compensate for the deficiency in character. The B motor was a mighty engine in its time, but even by the time it had found its way into the MGB, it was already a 10-year-old design, and it was a design that was compromised from the start. Due to manufacturing limitations, they had less than ideal port design for ultimate power. It's not to say that they can't be made to go decent heat, they certainly can. But there is a sacrifice in longevity, and the engine's less flexible than it otherwise would have been. So now we've seen what a resto modded B can be like, maybe we should have a look at a more period correct car. It's a 1966 MGB, built as a replica of the Le Mans cars of the period, with a lot of attention to detail to get little bits and pieces to look just right. Like the extra lights for the numbers, the rear end, it's just sculpted in a kind of special way. First thing you notice is it's a lot more dramatic in the way that it makes its power. Now listen to that sound. No mistaking it for something a little bit different. The engine's been worked over with an improved cylinder head, a lot of porting, decent camshaft, slight overbore, making it 1860cc. It's also got a Weber carburetor, set of extractors, and a nice smooth flowing exhaust. The suspension's upgraded, but it's all using the right bits. So it's still got the lever arm dampers, does have a little bit more camber in the front just to help it turn. And it's got a limited slip diff in the back to make sure it puts all the power down. It's also running a 5-speed Celica box, which is a nice upgrade. Once you're out on the track, you can tell it's been well sorted. It's got really good feedback through the steering, although a lot heavier than the blue car. And as you push hard around the corner, the steering just fights you back a little bit more. It's kind of quirky, but a lot of fun once you get used to it. The ignition's taken care of by a 123 tuned distributor. A worthwhile upgrade for sure. It also has a modern start mode. Just makes life a little bit easier. And it's also got a slightly bigger aluminium radiator, just to help keep things cool. And other than that, it's a pretty accurate rendition of what a works car would have been back in the day. And the experience, I think, is reasonably authentic behind the wheel. The sound while you're driving, it's just wonderful. But not for too long. It does get a little tiring. Unless of course you've got a helmet on, then it's okay. And that's what this car does well. It's set up as a motorsport car, and it's a lot of fun at the track. Still fun to drive on the road, but the lack of tractability in the engine does make it a little bit of a handful when you're going through town. So all these two cars do, at least on paper, look very similar. They're not. They're totally different animals, and each is very good at its own particular job and what it was set up for. The GT's a great car to go for a long drive in. The B's a great car to take to the track. So I guess you choose based on what you want to do. It's certainly possible you could have a B with a slightly less aggressive engine that would be reasonably authentic and still make a bit more power. But the K series powered B, that could be upgraded to make a lot more power. 180 horsepower isn't a stretch for that motor. And a B with 180 horsepower, weighs in at 940 kilos, that'd be pretty special.